Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is your boy Sonny here, coming at you guys with another Neverwinter video. And by the title and thumbnail, you know why you clicked on, but just to make it official, I guess, right? We're going to be discussing what to do when you hit level 60, 70, and 80. Now, this is a special requested video. If you want to see a video for yourself or you have a special request, you can leave it in the comment below. This person just happened to email me, which either way, hey, let me just quickly read it. Dear sir, could you make a video simple and understandable to us? So I'm guessing he's talking about a group of people. There's a lot of stuff on Neverwinter and no little of it. So I asked what to do when you hit level 60, 70, and 80. Now, I do have a video on the channel for a beginner's guide. That in this video will go hand in hand together. So I'm not going to be touching up on the things I talked about in that video. I would suggest go watching that one first, and then come back to watch this one. But the big thing about Neverwinter, and when I was getting all this information together, I was blown away, and I truly understand why people who play Neverwinter are having such a hard time, because compiling this information was even giving me a hard time. But I'm going to do my best, and you know, if you have to watch the video a couple times, pause it, whatever the case may be, leave a comment down below if you're still a little bit confused, and I'll do my best to answer it the best of my ability. But without further ado, we're just going to jump straight into this. Okay. Now, hitting level 60 isn't as big as you might think it is, because of the fact is the real grind doesn't start until you hit level 70, okay? But for 60, you're still going to be doing your thing, right? Now, I do want to make this point clear in this video because I always want to stress this enough. Progressing through Neverwinter, you should always be praying, and you should always be doing your queues at least once a day. Once a day. You know, you can do these, at least this one at level 12. You can do this one at 64 plus, and then you can do these at 70. But you definitely want to make sure that you at least get in here and do these. These are a must, right? You want to start accumulating that AD, getting yourself ready, so when you need to buy stuff to upgrade your character, or buy stuff to, you know, whatever the case may be, you'll be more in a better financial situation than somebody who's just starting running dungeons at 80. No, you definitely want to run dungeons way before. Stack that bread. Packing and stacking, bro. Packing and stacking. Next, you're just going to be leveling up your way through Spinward Rise, Fiery Pit. It doesn't matter. The big thing is, once you hit 70, stop what you're doing and head over to Undermountain, Yawning Portal, okay? Why I'm making this a point is because 70 to 80 grind, this is where you want to do all your business happening, is in the Yawning Portal campaign tab. So Undermountain campaign will give you the unlockability, if that's even a word. Unlockability? Yeah, that sounds like a word. Fuck it if it ain't. Unlockability to run Me's, We's, and Fees. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, what are those, Sonny? These are missions, quote unquote, that allow you to obtain the best in slot companion gear, and companions are essential to Neverwinter. I cannot stress that enough. Companions are, in my opinion, more important to getting stats than yourself, but some people don't know that, and the game doesn't tell you just how vital companions are, but they are extremely vital and extremely important. So you're going to be taking through all this campaign, and what this campaign allows you to do is buy some equipment. Now, this equipment sells for astral diamonds, which then in return could be used to invest into your toon, or you can simply use some of these for yourself. If you're a DPS class, the knives aren't a bad artifact. If you're a tank, the globe isn't a bad artifact. You can make Tom keys, and you can make Lair of the, you know, Mad Mage keys. So making Lam keys and Tom keys right from there are essential. Those are two big dungeons here in Neverwinter for content. Moving on. You also want to keep in mind, as you hit 70, you're also going to have to start running your campaigns. Examples: Sharndar, Dreadring, well, the Dragons, you know what I'm saying? Zones like that. Now, this is where things get tricky. So, I'm going to do my best to break down the next part, but be mindful. This is a lot to process because there is a lot to do in Neverwinter. I want to make that abundantly clear. If you're starting Neverwinter, there is a shit ton that needs to be done in order for you to catch up to the meta of the game. And that's what everybody's trying to do. They're trying to get to that meta of the game so they can enjoy the content that's being played instead of always being left in the dark. That is one issue. When I'm making this video and even leveling up on PC, I'm realizing how big of a gap there is from leveling up to hitting just 80 and doing everything you have to do. So Number one thing, why is it important to start stacking and packing now, is because in my opinion, you're going to want to skip some campaigns. Now, if you go to the Zen store right now, come down to, I believe it's in services. I want to say services. Is it in services? It's not in services. Where is it? They must have moved it. Just bear with me 1 second. Oh, it's right here in campaign tab. I didn't even know they had a tab dedicated to campaign. Jungles of Chult is a big one you want to buy. Storm King's Thunder is another big one you definitely want to buy, potentially. Now, I say that with the utmost, the utmost importance, just due to the fact is, Storm King's Thunder, everything in there is obsolete. Everything in there is obsolete. The only good thing about going back and finishing those campaigns is the boons. And the thing about the boons is, you have to go through the campaign in order to get the boons. So you have to do the campaign first in order to get the boons, 9 times out of 10. Now they're making it so you can pick boons or you can pick a campaign. You have options. But back in the day, nah, wasn't like that. You're doing the campaign, then you're getting the boons. So, in my opinion, Storm King Thunder campaign is just too massive, and it's just going to take up too much time that could be spent in other places. That Storm King's Thunder isn't even that important anymore. Back in the day, absolutely, that was the go-to spot. That's one of the problems with Neverwinter. All the older content that people still need to complete in order to get their boons is obsolete. Completely obsolete. Completely obsolete. There's no reason to go to Storm King's Thunder. No reason. There's no reason to go to Chult and go run the weeklies. Not even weeklies. You could do weeklies, but not even point to go back there and do the daily quest. There's no incentive. You have your boons. Another one that's a pain in the butt is Chult. Chult is just so massive because it's 2 different expansions, compact when you're leveling up. So it's a lot to process, because when we got this content, let me make this point clear. I had the privilege of playing the game as stuff released. So every mod, your boy Sonny was on top of it. From mod 5 when it first came out on Xbox to mod freaking 19 that's coming out, within the next couple of months. Your boy Sonny has been able to play the game and stay with a steady pace. Now, for anybody who's coming into the game, there is a huge problem. Huge problem, because all that old content is expected from you to complete. Plus the new content. But the problem is, Neverwinter doesn't tell you that old content is completely obsolete and almost a waste of time. Truthfully, they should just make the older content. Now, I guess if you're a story progression, there is a story within Neverwinter, but it's nothing crazy in my opinion. And you're really not missing out from... let me rephrase that. You kind of do get to miss out from some of the older content. There is some good things, and there's some bad things. But overall, the main focus point of Neverwinter is it's always progressing to the next thing, so you have to keep up with Neverwinter itself. That is the thing about Neverwinter. It's progressive, a game. So you always have to be on the incline, right? So those are the 2 campaigns that I would say skip. And I say skip, though, is just because there's not enough time in the day. I'm going to hit you with some quick hitters on what you're going to have to do, and you're going to be mind blown. Think about this real quick. You hit 70, right? You're going to start off by doing your Yana Portal. Now, you can do Yana Portal all the way up to, it stops. You could complete Yana Portal if you wanted to, an all-nighter. Dreadring, Sharndar, Well of Dragon. That's only 3. You have to go through, you have to go there, complete the daily missions, complete the weekly missions, complete the campaign missions, and work your way up, and up. Now, you can only do so many missions in one day for those specific zones. But I'm not even done with the zones that you would even theoretically have to complete. Those are just like the basics to me. Those are the 3 big ones. You still, if you want to do everything, technically speaking, you have to go to Barovia. Barovia gives you CRL. It gives you boons. It's part of the game, right? Even, where is it? Icewind Dale. Icewind Dale is another campaign that gives you boons. Underdark is another campaign that gives you boons, and they can all be done at level 70. That's what I'm saying. 70 is just a floodgate. Just a floodgate of content that is just overwhelming because there's just so much. And truthfully, where do you start? In my opinion, you start with Yana Portal. Get your companion down packed. Then you move on and you do the 3 big zones. Next thing, for when you hit 80, because you're going to hit 80 at some point, now you unlock Avernus. And now you need to start working on Avernus. There's no ifs or buts about it. You have to catch up to the current mod. Mod 19, Rage of Bell Episode 1 is already live on console. They're coming out with Mod 19 here on PC this month. That means in a couple months we're going to get Mod 19. So you have time, but at the same time, you have to keep up with it or you're going to get left behind. Because completing each one of these campaign zones is going to take you at least a month. At least a month. If you go on every day, do your dailies, do your weeklies, meet the weekly requirements, it's still going to take you a month. It's still going to take you a month with some of these, okay? Next thing, when I say you want to hit 80 and go work your way over to Avernus, is because also Avernus is going to be able to help you get gear, okay? Running the SE encounters over there, which is the big major heroic. You're going to see people posting it non-stop all day. Run those. Run those. That's when the grind really starts to happen. 60 all the way up to 70, you're building your AD, right? That's why I say run your dungeons at a lower level, because when you start hitting these higher levels and you're going to have to run all 4 queues and you're going to have to do all your dailies and weekly, you're just going to have to start picking and choosing your battles. That's why it's so important to start head early in Neverwinter. That's why I'm doing a leveling up experience on my PC. Every day I pray and I do my dungeon. That's it. That is it. Sometimes I don't even do, I don't even have to do missions, but I make sure I pray and do my dungeon. Because I know when I hit 70, there's no more, oh, well, I could skip a day. You just skip the whole day. Now you're behind the whole day. You know what I'm saying? Now that's another day of, you missing out on being in Avernus. Making your way towards that end game goal, or not even end game goal, but just that goal of achieving playability here in Neverwinter. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't even get, unfortunately, 2 professions. Professions are part of Neverwinter. Real quick, I don't do professions. I don't do professions, but I do want to make this point that there are professions in the game. Now, I will not be talking about that too heavily in the game because I really can't speak on professions too well. I'm not a professions guy. I usually just buy what I need off the auction house, to be honest. That is why it's important to grind. Because yes, in Neverwinter, you can craft stuff to make stuff. But if I have the money just to buy it, I'm just going to buy it. Because at the end of the day, sometimes I have way too much other stuff going on in the day. I'm going to let the people who already have invested the time and money and can reap the rewards of it. Because if you want to expand yourself into those kind of categories where you want to be a professions person or you want to be a seller or trader, that's a whole nother different side of Neverwinter. Maybe one day I could do that video down the road, but for now, let's just keep it basic, right? So, just to recap really quickly, because we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up because I don't want to make it too long and jam-pack too much information at you. 60 is not a really big deal. You're still going to be, leveling up. Like I said, you're going to be going through Spinward Rise and all that stuff. Making sure you're doing your dungeon and praying. Then when you hit 70, and when I say the floodgates open, the floodgates are open because you have possibilities. But just keep on a steady pace. Don't go, wishy-washy all over the place. I'm telling you, you hit 70, immediately come over here to the Yawning Portal. Start banging out these quests. After you start, accumulating some quests here in the Yawning Portal, you want to start unlocking Dreadring, Sharndar, Well of the Dragons, Icewind Dale. Do a couple at a time would be my best bet to tell you. Okay? Sure, you're not off the rip there's no way you're gonna have enough time to be able to do every single campaign zone in one day. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you're like Sonny, want to run. What is the max you can run in one day? Before we go ahead and wrap this up. So you want to know everything you can do in that day. Maybe you just have a whole free day to yourself, right? Here we go. First things first. If you're 70, you're loading in. What are you doing? Praying. First things first is pray. Get that initiated. Because as soon as you can pray, you want to pray. Start with Yawning Portal. Get this worked out. You could do a couple missions. Maybe unlock a new zone every day. You figure I do a zone, I move on. Then you're still level 70, right? You're gonna do Well of the Dragons, Sharndar, River District, Dreadbrink, Barovia, Cho, Icewind Dale, Underdark, and one more. Barovia? Let me see. That's honestly, you could just come here. I forget this tab is even here, but think about this. If you wanted to do a day's worth of stuff, you'd have to do Ravenloft, Jungles of Choke, The Cloaked Ascendancy, Icewind Dale, Storm King's Thunder, Dreadbrand, Underdark, Sharndar, Maze Engine, and Tyranny of the Dragons. That's not even including Under Mountain. And I forgot Acquisitions Incorporated, dude. I forgot even about this. But the good thing about this campaign is you can start at level 15. I think I talked about this in my beginning guide, but this is another campaign. Now, this one isn't really too heavily important, so I wouldn't, go crazy with this one. This one is, I kind of just do this in the background. Whenever I get free time, I'll jump here. But once you hit 80, now you're throwing in Avernus. And Avernus, once you hit 80, is a must-do every day, in my opinion. Making sure you're getting your weekly haul. That is the thing about some of the newer zones. They're more entailed to weekly hauls instead of doing every day you have to do just 3 missions. You could potentially get your whole haul in one day and then go ahead and work your way to another zone, technically speaking. Or out of the week, find what works for you. Really, find what works for you. Even if you got to write stuff down, figure out a schedule. Figure out a schedule for Neverwinter, because 70 floodgates are open. It's a free army, but I don't want to ramble no more. I'm just going to cut the video off here, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you made it to the end, make sure you hit that like, subscribe if you're new around here, and if you have any questions or any kind of video request, I will do my best to cover it. Anyway, guys, it has been your boy Sonny here, and I will check you out on the next adventure. Peace out.